Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I am incredibly excited and also, a little uncertain, but I have absolutely awesome news. Back issues number 4, Waning Moon, is officially announced. We have some real information on it this time, and it will be available starting Wednesday, December 11th, available at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that said, as always, if you'd rather just read the forum, I will have a link to the forum in the description below. If you want to just skip straight to my thoughts, I will have a timestamp in the description for that. But if you're one of those people who for some reason would rather listen to my voice than read it yourself, or maybe you just think my voice is pleasing to listen to, which would make you the minority, I'm going to go ahead and dive right into this post. So, once upon a time, a rogue hero took matters into his own hands. Seeking to dispel evil by any means, the collector sought to return him to the contest via some unlikely allies. And we do have Deadpool, Spider-Man, and Moon Knight on the front of this kind of art. So introducing back issues number 4, Waning Moon, available 10 a.m. Pacific time, Wednesday, December 11th. As the contest has grown and evolved, we've introduced many event quests, each with their own unique stories, and many that have expanded on the mythos of the Battle Realm and the Contest of Champions. We want to give veteran summoners a way to relive those moments, and newer ones that weren't with us at the time a chance to experience the stories of the contest that they had missed out on. This event quest is available in 2 difficulties. Classic difficulty is a recreation of the original quest. While not completely one-to-one, the layouts, difficulty, and dialogue are all the same as you remember. Take a stroll down memory lane and see how far you've come, or experience a quest you never got the chance to play. Variant difficulty is a new spin on the quest, available for summoners level 45 and up. This version features extreme challenge, new opponents, some minor map layout updates, and champion requirements that will ask you to reach deep into your roster and pick up some old favorites. This quest will test even the mightiest of summoners, so be prepared. The variant challenges. With each back issue's variant difficulty, we aim to shake up the summoner's roster, either through implicit or explicit champion requirements. This time, we're making summoners dig deep into their rosters and reviving some of your old favorites through the use of rarity restrictions. Everybody's favorite. Each quest will require you to bring only certain rarity champions. Remember, this is permanent content, so if you've lost your lower rarity champions over time, you'll have time to rebuild that roster. So quest 1, 5 and 6 stars only. Quest 2, 5 stars only. Quest 3, 4 stars only. Quest 4, 3 stars only. Quest 5, 2 stars only. And Quest 6, 1 stars only. And then we'll see new buffs. In addition to some challenging buffs that you've probably already seen around the contest, this variant difficulty will introduce 4 new buffs. And just like quick disclaimer, they are talking about defender buffs, not attacker buffs. So crackling energy. Striking the defender with a contact attack puts a passive energy damage over time effect on the attacker, dealing 0.5% of their max health every second for 10 seconds. Stacking up to 10 times. Striking the defender with a non-contact attack removes all stacks. Fundamentals. The defender has minus 100% chance to use special attacks. Instead, they gain a bonus based on their current power. Less than 1 bar reduce all incoming damage by 95%. 1 bar gain 2,100 block penetration. 2 bars, all attacks are unblockable. 3 bars, all attacks are unblockable, and charging a heavy attack deals 1% of the defender's attacks as direct physical damage. Will of Khonshu. All of Moon Knight's passive abilities are activated regardless of the current lunar phase. Echo Barrier. We're definitely going to see some Moon Knight bosses, just saying. Echo Barrier. Defender gains an energy barrier with 15 charges. Striking the defender applying a bleed effect or applying an armor break effect removes a charge. The defender is immune to all damage while the barrier has charges remaining. Charges are restored to 15 every 20 seconds. Rewards. Like back issues number 3, this quest features 6 individual quests over 3 chapters, unlike back issues number 1 and 2, which feature 9. Quest rewards will reflect this. So for completing, you'll see some generic ISO, a negligible amount of gold, 150 units, 8,000 premium hero crystal shards, 1 3-star hero crystal, and a stony core. This is for the classic quest. Actually, this is a more relevant amount of ISO actually. And for exploring the variant quest, you earn 5-star rank 2 to rank 3 gem crystals times 3, 5-star rank 3 to 4 gem crystal 2015 2016 specific times 3, so that of course is a good time. 5-star rank 3 to rank 4 gem crystal, a 5-star rank 4 to rank 5 gem crystal, and a 5-star awakening gem, 2 5-star crystals, 3/4 of a tier 5 basic, 2,250 6-star crystal shards, 42 5-star 6 stones, a respectable amount of gold, and some units. So that said, let me dive right into my thoughts. I'll stick a timestamp here for those who just want to hear my thoughts on it. So I like that we have like Deadpool, Spider-Man, and Moon Knight here because I think that these really are the champions we see at the lower rarities more commonly, just because like everybody did technically have access to Deadpool, even if you were only free to play. You know, we might see people. I think that the Deadpool Red package like is a permanent bundle you can buy. So if you like haven't bought that, I imagine this is like Kabam's way of saying, hey, buy the Deadpool Red package. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like Deadpool buffs in the game. But Kabam Mike has already commented that the Moon Knight buff, the new buff for Moon Knight, which we've actually seen buffed Moon Knights like that before, where it's all phases always, but the buffed Moon Knight is specifically for defense purposes. He said it's not an attacker buff, it's specifically defense buff, so be aware of that. And so I'm really interested in just like the general layout of this, and I think the rarity gates, I've got like really harshly mixed opinions on it. So like I think like my gut instinct I think is going to be the common instinct with everybody, is that 5 and 6 stars on quest 1 and 5 stars only on quest 2, it's just a kick. It felt like a kick in the face. Like I think a lot of people were hyped to see like 1 and 2 star gates, even 3 and 4 star gates maybe, but 5 and 6 star gates and 5-star gates, like Kabam, you didn't learn anything from Act 6.2. That's what pissed the community off. It's so incredibly frustrating to not have access to basic parts of your roster when you're running only 5 and 6. Now 1 and 2s, 3s and 4s, you know, people could always make the argument of play more, open more premium hero crystals, and get there with time. But 5 and 6 stars, like it's just it's such a different level of gate. So my first instinct was like, that's a kick in the face, you know, and like for me, that's really gonna screw me up. I know it's gonna screw up a good portion of the community. And then a second part of me was like, well, this is variant number 4. Right? And there are 3 other variants accessible to summoners in the game. And so I feel like to an extent, this 5 and 6 star champions only, this is Kabam's way of saying we don't want new summoners to just jump in and do 5 and 6 stars only. You know, we want you to have at least probably pushed, you know, a roster of rank 3 5 stars, because I think what happened with Polar Opposites variant 3 was new summoners with like you know, a sentinel, any sentinel, like 4-star sentinel rank 3, 4-star sentinel rank 4, could just boost up and hammer their way for a completion of variant 3 and just full meme all 6 quests. And I think this is Kabam's way of saying we don't want that to happen again. And I understand and I respect that. I just think that like maybe what we should have seen was like quest 1, 5 and 6-star champs only, quest 2, 5 and 4-star champs only, quest 3, 4-star champs only, you know, like maybe just like I just think it's a little bit of a frustration. I think that it's a little unnecessary, but you know, hey, we'll see when it comes out. We'll see how, you know, the nodes and the interactions are. That first quest is usually memeable, right? Like you can usually meme your way through at least one path for the completion run. So it just kind of depends on what we see and what we have. So I'll hold most of my frustration back, but I do think that there are more cons to this setup than there are pros. But hey, if you disagree, let me know, because I'm still going to try to make an early push on this. But you know, I'm not going to lie, that 5 and 6-star gate and that 5-star gate, those might hold me back for quite some time. Even with the expansive roster, I feel like I have spent time building. So we have 4 new buffs as well, diving into like less frustrating things and really interesting things here. So Crackling Energy, essentially you're going to want to like bring champions that do non-contact. So like champs like Havoc or Iron Man Infinity War are going to be great. People with Yeah, really, like, those are the only two I can think of right now, because you're not really going to be wanting to rely on specials. I already tell you off the bat, Ghost isn't going to be able to phase this because it's a passive debuff, but you might be able to bring like Ghost and Hood synergy and play around it that way. You could probably use Corvus Glaive and just never get hit. In this kind of a situation, we'll need to see how they stack this buff up with the defenders in order to be able to attack it and approach it properly. But there are plenty of champions who have non-contact attacks that could definitely work around this. It's just going to hardcore limit your roster, or you're going to be taking a lot of damage in return. Fundamentals, I think this is a really cool one. I think that unblockable on both 2 bars of power and 3 bars of power means that we might see people opt to bring power control, and then instead of like trying to power control people down to 0, all they have to do is power control people under 2. So like magic and then power locking people, and then maybe throwing like the occasional special 1 just to keep them there. Or like maybe you like ramp them up to 2 bars and then you special 2 with magic to keep them at 1 bar and then keep them power locked in that regard. So I think that there's a lot of cool ways and interactions people are going to handle this. And you know what? I'm just going to say there's still going to be people who just push them into 3 bars and just ignore it, right? Like, so long as you're able to ghost, none of this matters to you. Yeah, you'll take some damage from the charging heavies, but as long as the AI isn't set up for like aggression, where they typically charge heavies more often, then it's going to be fine, and you should just plow your way through it. Quake is still going to be able to just plow her way through this as long as you never parry. So I think that there's going to be a lot of people who approach it that way, where they just like push them into 1 bar and then play the game completely around, never pushing them into a 2nd and a 3rd bar. And that's probably the right way to play it, that or just get really, really good at intercepting. But it is cool because you won't have to worry about special 3s, right? Because minus 100% chance to use special attacks, as long as you're not taunting the opponent, they won't throw a special. Will of Khonshu, I just gotta say, I'm pretty sure we've seen Moon Knight with all of his passive abilities active before, so I don't really feel like this is a new buff. Or maybe it's like we've seen Moon Knight with Waning Moon and Waxing Moon buffs. But either way, I'm just not impressed with this. I feel like these 2 buffs are really, really cool. And then this one, especially when we know it's going to be a defender, I just feel like they didn't even need to put this in here. Like, we could walk into it and be like, oh, cool, Moon Knight with all of his passive abilities. Like, I really feel like we've seen that before. I'm just not impressed. But this last one I think is also really cool, but going to be proper frustrating for a lot of people, where you're going to have to either be incredibly aggressive and then have very small windows of damage, or you're going to have to bring people with like guaranteed armor break and guaranteed bleed effects. So like Nick Fury's probably going to be a champ for this. I think that, Silver Surfer will probably be good here with his triple armor break. And what I'm really interested in is whether or not we'll be able to interact with this buff in particular. Because if we're able to interact with this, that's really going to change how people can respond. Because if like Symbiote Supreme or Magic or any form of nullification can react with this, we're going to see tons of Mystic Dispersion and people approaching the game that way. My only thing is I would have liked to see Bleed Effect, Armor Break, and Poison here. Just because I think that there's a good amount of Poison champions in the game that could use a little bit of love. Especially since like Man-Thing is a new champion on the block. It would have been nice to see him have that kind of interaction here. But again, it just depends on how they stack the defenders. Rewards are solid. Always good to see 2015 and 2016 gems. Still secretly hoping to see like a 2016, 2017 gem eventually. But hey, maybe at the end of next year is when we'll see that. So that is variant 4. My thoughts, mostly my initial impressions on this, just because I just read this like 15 minutes ago. Or however long plus me recording this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're ready to tackle this content, because I would love to hear other people tell me how they're tackling it, because new content means new times, good times, and lots of conversations between the community. So that said, I will talk to you all later.